But back to, yes, Europe and in the Brexit context now here at Westminster. And joining me is the DUP's Brexit spokesman, Sammy Wilson, the DUP integral to this whole process. And you said this morning in a radio interview that when you were asked about what Theresa May could get from her meetings in Europe today, by nature of reassurances, you said reassurances don't mean anything when they're put against a legally binding agreement. I mean, is there anything that she could come back with today that would help you support her deal?
I don't think she's even looking to come back with anything which will deal with the issues in the House of Commons. She wasn't listening yesterday. She heard it time and time again. The problem is the legal nature of the agreement and the content of it. And she said that all she was going to do was go and try and get some reassurances. Now, if you've got a legally binding agreement, which the government has signed up to, and every page of it talks about the obligations of the UK government, the responsibilities of the UK government. And on the other hand, you get some vague reassurances from people who won't be there after May. Don't forget, there's European elections in May, and those reassurances may have to be enacted by a UK government, the shape of which we don't know. Then I think you can see the imbalance and why nobody would ever take that as a way out of the current situation.
Well, I guess electorates can only work with the politicians they have at any given time. So we have who we have in the various positions of power. But reassurances aren't enough for you, clearly. But, you know, if it came to a move of no confidence against this government, would you still back it?
We're focusing on getting this deal defeated. If this deal were to go through, and we have made this very clear, and the government was then going to implement it in legal terms and put the legislation through the House of Commons, it would no longer have our support. We haven't reached that situation yet, and I don't think that we want to talk about what happens after that, because we are confident that we can get this deal defeated, because so many people have cottoned on to what it actually means for the United Kingdom. If you're a leaver, you know that it means that we're never going to be able to leave the EU, and if you're a remainer, you know that you're going to remain in the EU without any power.
So you're not supporting this government at any cost? That's what you're saying at this point?
No, and we have always made it clear that our support is conditional upon the government delivering on its manifesto and on the referendum, and ensuring that it does that for the United Kingdom as a whole.
What do you think Theresa May's strategy is today in calling off the vote yesterday, of course, but in going ahead with these meetings today and so on?
I have no clue, because this is a Prime Minister who just seems to find a brick wall and beat her head against it. She did the same last week with the legal opinion. She, up to the last minute, she resisted it, got a bloody nose as a result from Parliament, and then gave in. And she seems to be doing the same again, and she has done this time and time again. I don't know what her strategy is, but I'll tell you one thing, it's not working.
Is she pushing this right up to the wire, to the point where people are so worried that there might be the prospect of no deal that they think, well, let's go with her deal?
That may well be her tactic, but I think if that's her tactic, it's as wrongly thought out as her previous tactics, whether it was an illegal opinion or whatever. If she thinks people are going to back down just because she seeks to blackmail them, running up against a time constraint, I think she's very wrong there. And anyhow, many of us are now convinced that no deal is better than this bad deal. And I think that we've also made the assessment that once the EU is confronted with not getting our 39 billion, of not having the free access to the UK market for its huge trade surplus in goods, that they'll be the people who will back down and say, look, let's start talking sensibly. And you know, she's got to get tough in these negotiations. All along she has rolled over to them. Let the EU see that there are consequences for the European Union in not having a balanced deal.
OK, Sammy Wilson, DUP's Brexit spokesman, thank you very much for your time.